What's going on YouTube? It's Lieutenant Cade, also known as Alvin the Director. I'm a lieutenant down here at Fort Gordon, Georgia. I'm currently in Captain's Career Course, and in today's video, I want to talk to y'all about how to succeed as a company XO. So when I was at Fort Wainwright, Alaska, I spent 12 months as a company XO, and my job was to directly support the company commander and the company first sergeant. As the company XO, for anybody that's ever served as an XO, you know that it's a very demanding job, and you're expected to learn a lot. As a junior lieutenant, your job is primarily to either work on staff or be a platoon leader, and then at some point you'll either transition to a primary staff officer, or for some people you'll become a company XO. Now there's other jobs that you can also get, but typically being on staff or being a company XO is typically a job reserved for lieutenants that have done their junior lieutenant time, and they're a more senior lieutenant that has a little bit more experience. For anyone that's new to the role, don't know what to expect in the role, or if you're a company XO that is struggling right now, here are some tips that'll help you succeed in your position and help you be the best XO that you can be. Number one is maintenance. Maintenance. I've talked about this in a video before this, and I'm also going to talk about it in this video, but maintenance is extremely important. For anybody that's ever worked for me, they understand the emphasis that I put on maintenance and how important that it is. It's not just a Monday thing, it's not just a Tuesday thing, it's an everyday thing. Yes, the Army has multiple maintenance on Mondays. Yes, you might do your branch specific maintenance on Tuesdays. However, maintenance is an everyday thing, and as a company XO, your job is to make sure that maintenance program is run as close to flawlessly as possible. One thing that I like to do is lean heavily on my NCOs. My NCOs helped me with literally everything when it came to maintenance, whether it was my supply NCO or whether it was one of my squad leaders or team leaders. I relied heavily on maintenance with them, because they're the ones that are actually the end users. Those are the ones that are actually out there with the soldiers, making sure that our systems are up and running at all times. And if their things go down, if their equipment goes down in the field, then they're not able to do their job. So maintenance is extremely important. So make sure that you rely heavily on those NCOs to make sure that your maintenance program is ran correctly. Also, when it comes to 5988s, this is our system of record on how we track everything within the Army when it comes to maintenance. So I write everything down on my 5988s. If my soldier had an issue with the vehicle, I had them write it down. Of course, they're following everything by the team. If they have a conversation with the mechanic about something that's going on with their said piece of equipment, I had them write that down. I had the mechanics verify, just so we can have a record to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. Those 5988s are extremely important. Don't slack on them at all. I always printed out my 5988s on Friday. This was just my method, and then I put it in the platoon respective bin Friday afternoon. That way Monday morning, first platoon has their 5988, second platoon has theirs, HQ has theirs, and they're able to start motor pool maintenance. The other thing about maintenance is make sure as a leader that you're out there in the motor pool. Whether you're a platoon leader or an XO, be out in the motor pool, be present with your soldiers. Maintenance is a huge program, and it takes a group effort to be able to run that program successfully. Number two, establish a schedule. I had a battle rhythm for everything that I needed to do. That schedule was always written on my whiteboard. I had a huge whiteboard in my office. If you watched my videos in the past, you know that you've seen that board. It was always behind me. I wrote literally everything down on there. Now, to someone else, I'm coming from the outside, looking in, they might say, hey, Lieutenant Cade, your board is just a complete mess. But I understood my schedule. I understood exactly what needed to go on there, and I looked at my schedule every single morning. I synced with my platoon leaders. I synced with my company XO, my company first sergeant, my supply sergeant. I synced with them every single day just to make sure that I knew exactly what the game plan was going into the day, and I knew the game plan for the week. And that schedule was something that I tried my best to stick by. So establish a schedule. It'll make your life easier instead of just kind of shooting from the hip and not really knowing what's next. Number three, know everything that your boss knows and everything that they don't know. Now, this might sound confusing at first, but your company commander and your company first sergeant, both of them I consider your bosses. Now, I understand your company first sergeant has a little bit different of a dynamic. The company first sergeant is not your raider or anything like that. They don't directly tell you what to do, but that company commander and company first sergeant, both of them are your bosses. So make sure that you know everything that your company commander knows and that company first sergeant. Whenever my first sergeant were to go to a meeting, or whenever my company commander were going to a meeting, I always kind of met up with them right beforehand to see if there was anything that I needed to do to support them. If there was ever a time when my company commander was on leave, I always synced with my first sergeant. I always called my commander on the phone. I was like, hey, what do I need to know prior to going to that meeting? That way we're all on the same page. So I'd say I synced with my company commander and company first sergeant about 4 to 5 times a day. Whenever there was a break-in task, or whenever that company commander came back from a meeting, or the first sergeant came back from whatever they were doing, I always made sure I was sat in the office for at least 5 minutes just to make sure that we were on the same page, because if that company commander goes down, hey, company XO, you're up. So make sure you know everything that your boss knows. There were certain times when I was a company XO, or my company commander would come back and he'd give me a list of tasks and say, hey, Lieutenant K, we need to get X, Y, and Z done. And I'd be like, hey, sir, we already did X and Y. I'll go ahead and now knock out Z. He would say, hey, how'd you know to knock out X and Y? And it just comes with experience. So that goes with, hey, you need to know everything that your boss doesn't know, because the company commander has a lot on their plate. They're dealing with soldier actions, and they're dealing with training, and they're going to a bunch of meetings. So there's certain things as a company XO you're expected to get smart on and kind of train your company commander up on prior to them telling you what to do. Don't wait on your boss to let you know what to do. You should already know as a company XO. It comes with a little bit of experience. You were a platoon leader at some point, or you were on staff for a little while before you became a company XO. So you have some kind of experience. So use that experience to help out your company commander. Again, they're gonna have a lot on their plate. Same with the company first sergeant. There are certain times where I would go ahead and knock out things that I know needed to get done. That way that first sergeant doesn't have to worry about it. So it comes with a little bit of experience. It comes with knowing your boss. It comes with understanding how your unit is actually ran, but you need to know everything that your boss knows and everything your boss doesn't know, because again, you are the company XO. Number 4, train your platoon leaders. Now, everything that I said is extremely important, and training your platoon leaders is extremely important as well. Now, for the company XO, you're a lieutenant, right? So you don't have any authority over those platoon leaders, but you have a lot of influence. I would talk with those platoon sergeants, and I'll make sure those platoon leaders are being receptive of what their platoon sergeants are saying to them. Those platoon sergeants have been in the Army for years, at least 8 to 10 years, if not more than that. So they have a lot of experience as an NCO, and they're there to help you. So if there's a lieutenant that is coming out of BOLIC and they think they know everything, or if they're prior enlisted and they think they know everything about the Army, that's not an excuse to not listen to your platoon sergeant. So as an XO, I'm talking with those platoon sergeants, and I'm making sure that those platoon leaders are listening to them, leaning on the NCOs, and not just trying to do everything. Which leads me to my last topic, and that is learn to prioritize and delegate. Now, prioritizing is something that's going to come with time. It's going to come with experience. And that's something that never really has been a problem for me. I've always been good at understanding my boss's intent and understanding what needs to be done, but delegating as well. Delegating has been a problem for me. So even though I know how to prioritize, I don't always know how to delegate. And I'm not always willing to delegate. However, delegating tasks are extremely important. It allows you to get a lot more done. It takes a lot of stress off your plate, and it allows you to just be a lot more efficient as a leader. So understanding, number 1, how to prioritize, but number 2, how to delegate those tasks. There are a lot of NCOs, there's a lot of soldiers that are a lot smarter than you are. They've been in the Army a lot longer than you. So make sure you delegate certain tasks to them as well, so that they can help you accomplish the mission, and it'll make you a more effective leader. Now, if you're a lieutenant out there, whether you're a platoon leader, you're sitting on staff, or you're a company XO, and you have any questions about anything when it comes to how to be successful as a company XO, feel free to reach out. You can follow me on Instagram at AlvinTheDirector. I'm going to link that right here as well, so you can follow me, ask me whatever questions. My DMs are always open. I've answered a lot of questions about being a platoon leader, about being a company XO, and I'm here to help you. So make sure you hit me up on Instagram at AlvinTheDirector. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think, and let me know in the comments below what topics you need me to cover in the near future. I'm Alvin the Director, and I'm out.